So I wanted to start just with a quick refresher of where we've been and where we might be going with our metrics these days. Today, our numbers being posted show that we have 8,068 cases of COVID-19 diagnosed to date among Monterey County residents. That includes 482 hospitalizations and 58 fatalities. And just to put those fatalities into perspective, while some may say they're small, during the last flu season, we had 4 deaths due to flu. So I also today wanted to show you our metrics in a little bit of a different way. We've been sharing a table with you. I wanted to show them in graphic formula today. And so the first table that I want to show to you today shows our number of cases over time. They're aggregated by CDC weeks. And since most of people don't really understand what CDC weeks are, I'll just try to put that into perspective. This is early February, early March right here. Week 15 is about mid-April. The week of Memorial Day is week 22. Week 31, which is looks to be our peak right now, is the last week of July. As you look at this, I would caution the last 2 weeks due to reporting delays and delays in testing and diagnosis. These numbers will change a bit in the next coming weeks. But as you can see, we have early indications that our curve is at least flattening off, perhaps even declining. So this is some good news and shows that the efforts that everybody's been making to stay home when they're sick and to wear face coverings and keep social distancing is starting to work in Monterey County. And so I just implore everybody to keep those up so that we can keep this curve going in the right direction. Next, I want to show you our hospitalization census. So these are all 4 hospitals in Monterey County combined. It's the number of people who are inpatient with diagnosed COVID-19 over time. And you can see we've had an increase, a slow increase, and then a sharp increase starting in early July. This is sort of the last week of July, early August. We seem to may have peaked and are starting to see a decline in hospitalizations among Monterey County residents. So another good sign that things are at least moving in the right direction. Next, we'll look at ICU bed availability. This graph is sort of flipped. You want to see high numbers here. We want to see lots of ICU beds available, and you can see that we consistently had about 60 to 70% of our ICU beds available in Monterey County over time until about the last week in July. And we saw a really sharp decline all the way down to August 12th when we only had 10% of our ICU beds available in Monterey County. That has started to improve, and we've started to see an increase again, numbers going in the right direction. And then the next graph I want to show you is a bit more complicated and busy. On the left-hand side is the axis for the number of COVID-19 tests conducted among Monterey County residents, and that corresponds with the blue filled areas on this graph. The orange line represents the percent of positivity among those tests that are conducted, and that corresponds with the axis over here on the right-hand side. So what you can see from these numbers is we've had a very sharp increase in the number of tests being conducted in Monterey County. It seems to be leveling off and actually declining, though, in the number of people who are getting tested in Monterey County. Our test positivity rate has increased since June 1st, but is showing signs of leveling off as well. And you can see there's a big variability in that on a daily basis. The last graph I want to show you looks at the new California Department of Health's Blueprint for a Safer Economy metrics that were announced last week. The two that we're showing here are our case rate. That's a 7-day average with a 7-day lag per 100 population. That's the short blue line. The other is the percent positivity among testing, and that's the short orange line. And what I put on here is 3 horizontal lines to kind of give us an idea of where we need to go. So this first yellowish line is the threshold for when we can consider school waivers. So we need to have our blue line underneath the yellow line for 3 weeks to consider school waivers in Monterey County. The next red line corresponds to the orange line. It's our testing positivity threshold to move to the next tier, the red tier in the state's schedule. We're currently in purple. So we need to get this orange line down below this first red line for 3 consecutive weeks to be able to move into the next tier. In addition to that, we need to get our case rate down below the bottom red line, which is our threshold for case rates. That means we need to get this blue line down below the red line for 3 consecutive weeks. We had discussed that we thought that the state was going to be reevaluating us and giving us our next data point today, but we did get some clarification that our next assessment will not be until September 8th. So we will look forward to see where we are in those metrics, and we'll be monitoring them internally as well until that time.